CEO was attacked in the parking garage. A single dad fought them off, not knowing she was his sister. The underground parking garage was eerily quiet that night. The fluorescent lights flickered, casting long shadows on the concrete walls. Claire Donovan, one of the youngest tech CEOs in the city, walked briskly to her car. Her heels clicked against the floor, echoing in the empty space. She'd stayed late at the office again, finalizing a deal that could change the company forever. She didn't notice the two men until it was too late. They stepped out from behind a pillar, faces masked, moving fast. Wallet, phone, now, one hissed, grabbing her arm. Got. Claire froze for a split second, heart pounding. Then she heard footsteps, heavy, quick. A figure emerged from the shadows. Let her go, a voice commanded, deep and steady. The men turned, surprised. The stranger was tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a worn leather jacket and carrying a battered tool bag. His face was lined with fatigued, but his eyes burned with something fierce. "This ain't your business, man," one of the attackers sneered. The stranger dropped the tool bag. "It is now." The first man lunged. The stranger moved like a storm, a swift block, a strike to the ribs, and the attacker was on the ground, groaning. The second man swung a knife, but the stranger stepped in, twisted his wrist, and sent the blade clattering across the floor. A single punch knocked him out cold. Claire stood frozen, breathing hard, her back against the car door. "You okay?" the man asked, scanning the garage to make sure there were no more threats. She nodded, still in shock. I think so." "Who are you?" He reached down, grabbed his tool bag, and gave a small shrug. "Just a guy heading home." She noticed the calluses on his hands, the grease stains on his jacket. A mechanic, maybe, or a laborer. He started to walk away. "Wait," she called after him. "At least tell me your name." He hesitated for a moment, then turned slightly. Jake Miller." The name hit her like a bolt of lightning. Her breath caught. "Miller," she whispered, her voice trembling. "What's your mother's name?" Jake frowned, wary. Linda Miller." "Why?" Tears welled up in Claire's eyes. She stepped forward, her voice breaking. "Oh my God, Jake." He stared at her now, really looked at her. The eyes, the shape of her face older, different, but unmistakable. "Claire," he whispered, as if saying the name might shatter the moment. The world seemed to freeze around them. 10 years apart, torn by a family tragedy that had sent them on different paths. She had been adopted out of foster care. He had stayed behind, bouncing between homes. Neither had known where the other ended up, and now, in a dim parking garage, fate had brought them crashing back together, one fight, one heartbeat away from losing each other forever. Claire stepped into his arms, sobbing. "I thought I lost you." Jake held her tight, his own tears slipping silently down his cheeks. "Not anymore, sis. Not anymore." Outside, sirens wailed in the distance, but for the first time in years, neither of them felt alone. The underground garage was almost empty at that hour. Claire Donovan's heels clicked softly as she walked toward her black sedan, her mind still on the massive deal she'd finalized just minutes ago. The contract could change everything for her company. For once, she felt like her years of sleepless nights and sacrifices were paying off. Then she heard it, a shuffle of footsteps, the faint scrape of rubber soles on concrete. Her hand tightened around her car keys. She turned her head slightly, scanning the dimly lit garage. That's when they stepped out from behind a concrete pillar. 2 men, both masked, both moving fast. "Nice car, lady," one sneered. "Hand over the keys, and the bag." Claire's heart raced. She glanced around. No security guard, no other cars, just her and them. The taller man grabbed her arm, yanking her toward the shadows. "No screaming. You scream, you don't go home tonight." Claire opened her mouth to speak, but another sound cut through the garage. Heavy, quick footsteps, echoing off the concrete walls. "Let her go," a voice commanded. The attackers turned. A figure emerged from the shadows, a man in a worn leather jacket, carrying a dented tool bag. His hair was a little messy, his boots scuffed, but his stance was solid. "Ready? This ain't your problem, buddy," the shorter attacker growled, tightening his grip on Claire. The stranger dropped the tool bag with a thud that echoed like a warning. His voice was calm but sharp. "It is now." The first man lunged at him. What happened next was fast and brutal. The stranger sidestepped, slammed his forearm into the attacker's elbow, and drove a punch into his ribs. The man crumpled to the ground, gasping. The second attacker pulled a knife, but the stranger moved with lightning precision, twisting the wrist until the blade clattered to the floor. One more strike and the second man was down cold. Silence filled the garage again, broken only by Claire's ragged breathing. "You okay?" the stranger asked, scanning the space to make sure there were no more threats. Claire swallowed hard, nodding. "Yes, thank you. You saved my life." He bent down, picked up his tool bag, and shrugged as if what he'd just done was nothing, just happened to be here. "Wait," Claire said, her voice still shaky. "Can I at least know your name?" He hesitated for a moment, then said quietly, Jake Miller." The name hit her like a physical blow. Claire's knees almost gave out. "Miller," she whispered, her voice trembling. What was your mother's name?" Jake frowned, clearly confused. "Linda Miller." "Why are you asking me that?" Claire stepped forward, tears welling in her eyes. "Linda Miller, Jake, it's me, Claire." He stared at her, frozen. His mouth opened slightly, but no words came. He stepped closer, studying her face, the eyes, the jawline, the way her lip trembled when she was scared. "Claire," he whispered, his voice breaking. She nodded, tears slipping down her cheeks. "Oh my God, Jake, it's you." For a second, neither of them moved. Then he dropped the bag again and closed the distance, wrapping his arms around her like he'd never let go. 10 years. 10 years since they'd been torn apart. 10 years since the night that fire destroyed their home, killed their parents, and sent them into the foster system. She'd been adopted within months. He hadn't been so lucky. They'd both searched. But life had a cruel way of hiding things until it was ready. "I thought you were dead," she sobbed against his chest. Jake's voice cracked. "I thought I'd never see you again." She pulled back slightly, wiping her tears. That's when she noticed the grease stains on his jacket, the calluses on his hands. You work with cars?" He nodded. "Single dad, mechanic. Just finished a night shift." "Single dad," Claire whispered, her heart tightening. He gave a faint, almost shy smile. "Little girl, 8. Name's Emily. You'd love her." Claire laughed through her tears, a sound both broken and healing. "I can't believe this. I can't believe it's you." He glanced down at the unconscious men on the floor, then back at her. "Guess fate wanted us to meet again. In style." Claire gripped his arm tightly. "No, fate wanted us to find each other, and I'm not letting you go this time." Somewhere above them, sirens began to wail. But in that cold, dim parking garage, 2 lost souls had finally come home.